the conjunctions of Uranus and Neptune progress around the zodiac at the rate of upon one sign for 330 years. That's a very useful way to study civilization. For instance, the one I mentioned to you before that occurred in early Capricorn, 1822, was the beginning of the industrial age. And this is when things, the color of things changed from Sagittarian to Capricorn, Capricornian. Sagittarian with colorful silk costumes of the court. It changed to black, which is typical of Saturn. But other things, there was a lot of smoke and smokestacks and steam, burning coal. All that period when London was covered with smog was the 19th century. Black clothes. And of course industry itself, using tools in a way they'd never been used with manufacturing. If you go earlier, they're in Sagittarius. The first one in Sagittarius was about 1490, just before Columbus sailed the ocean blue. And it inaugurated a whole bunch of, well, I shouldn't say bunch, but a number of explorations of the Earth's. Was it Magellan that went all the way around the Earth, and Cortez that did South America, and Pizarro that did Mexico. Exploration. And it's that part of the zodiac, early Sagittarius, that deals with exploration. Remember I said long journeys with the arrow, so forth. If you go back 330 years before that, you get it in Scorpio, the time of the 100 Years' War and plague, Black Plague, and various other Scorpio manifestations. Going back again, you get it in Libra, in this marvelous period in the 11th and 12th century. It was before the Renaissance, but that was it was a Renaissance of its own, in that there was a tremendous upsurge of interest in things intellectual and so forth. At that time there were 25,000 universities in Paris. Now I don't know what they must, a university must have been much smaller than it is
it must
now.
be what we now call high school.
But let's say it was at least one teacher with a number of students,
right.
but 25,000 of them sounds like California today, with all their gurus, you see. And I remember, it stuck in my mind, they passed a law at that time that students should not play dice in Notre Dame on the altar while Mass was in progress. Well, I've gone way back into 1200 AD, but
and you've been tracing what?
I've been tracing
Uranus, Neptune
of Uranus and Neptune. But let me come up to more recently when these planets, see, these planets were not part of the ancient lore of astrology. Uranus was discovered about 1760, about the time of, just before the American and French revolutions. And since Uranus deals with self-determination, it's appropriate that it was discovered at the time of these revolutions against the king. Or you could put it the other way around, because it was discovered at the time when self-determination was emerging as a factor in society, they have acquired that connotation. But nevertheless, it works. Self-determination is characteristic of Uranus. Mm-hmm. And Neptune wasn't discovered till, almost 100 years later, 1848, I think it's very close to 1848. And that was the time when various Neptunian things came about, such as the discovery of anesthesia, but also spiritualism. The Fox sisters, was 1948, hit the country like a bomb. I mean, everybody was practicing spiritualism for it also was the time of the European revolutions, which were quite different from the revolutions of 1760. These were revolutions where it was recognized the community of man kind of thing. And the first Communist Manifesto was signed in 1848. And all these banquets in which the rich gave their money away to the poor. It was a totally different kind of revolution, because it was, everyone was joining into this spirit of communality.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting that Neptune rules this spirit of communality, which penetrates borders. That's the essence of Neptune. It penetrates boundaries, and hence anesthesia.